This weekend, Imsa heads back to the streets, but this time in Detroit for the 100-minute long Detroit GRand Prix sprint race. Last year's race featured plenty of chaos, including a track blocking incident, and with some cars already breaking out to a healthy championship points lead, some teams may be looking to take more chances than others in order to claw their way back into the championship fight. This is everything you need to know for the Detroit GRand Prix. The Detroit GRand Prix has been a regular on the Imsa schedule since the Grand Am and ALMS merger. The WeatherTech Championship has raced in sort of a support series capacity to IndyCar, previously on the Belle Isle Street circuit, but 2023 brought a big change with it as the Detroit GRand Prix was moved from the island circuit to a new street track in downtown Detroit. Now, the WeatherTech Championship only debuted on this downtown street circuit last year after it missed the initial 2023 edition, but there's still a few key characteristics of this track that you should know about. The biggest one is that it's tough to pass. The circuit really only features one good passing opportunity, and it's the end of the longest straight on the track leading up to turn 3. The heavy braking zone produced plenty of passing in the race last year, but it also produced plenty of contact. We're going to see most of the passes that are completed in this race attempted in this corner just due to the very narrow nature of the track. As for lap times around here, you can expect the GTPs to be in the 1 minute 5 second range, with the GTD Pros getting down into the 109s. And when you factor in the very narrow nature of this track, along with the relatively small speed difference between the GTPs and the GTD Pros, I think that it's going to make traffic a massive factor in this race. It's going to be really difficult for the GTPs to navigate around the slower GTD Pro traffic without losing a ton of time to their competitors. It's going to take a lot of patience and certainly a bit of luck to navigate traffic safely and efficiently. Finally, one of the most unique features of this track is the pit road. Due to space constraints at the track, the pit lane features stalls on both sides of pit road. So this unique configuration will see all of the GTD Pro entries boxed on the driver's left-hand side of the pits, and the GTP entries will all have their pit stalls on the driver's right-hand side. Now, this shouldn't lead to anything all that unique under full course yellow conditions, as the classes will be pitting separately. However, if there's some green flag pit stops, this could be fun to watch. As always, in the lead up to each and every race, I like to dive into some of the big storylines that we're going to see this year. And this time out, there are some big ones. Porsche are going to be trying to keep their perfect season alive in GTP. Full course yellows are going to play a massive role in this year's race, I think. But the big one of the weekend is going to be BOP changes. However, if you want a bonus thing to watch for in this year's race, then consider subscribing to the S's newsletter. Before every race, I'm going to send you a bonus storyline that I'm watching out for over the weekend, as well as everything that you need to know in order to be prepared for the weekend's race. You can subscribe to that by clicking the link in the description or by heading to offinthes's.com. Another big factor this weekend is not going to be the weather, as we're in for some pretty good weather this weekend. According to Racecast Weather, you can check them out on social media. There's a small chance of a late day shower on Friday, so that could affect qualifying. A daytime high of 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 24 degrees Celsius. With race day featuring sunny skies, a high of 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. Let's take a look at the BOP, the balance of performance now, and it's going to be a big talking point into this race, starting with GTP. Here, the big changes come to Acura, who loses 22 kilograms of weight. Cadillac loses 29 kilograms of weight from Laguna Seca, while Porsche puts on 11 kilograms of weight for the race. We also see some significant power adjustments here. Acura gets a 21 kilowatt boost under 190 kilometers an hour. That's going to be really beneficial to them coming out of these slow speed corners in Detroit. And we also see Cadillac getting a nice 11 kilowatt boost. But there's also some big losers here. BMW is down 27 kilowatts. Porsche is down 5 kilowatts as well. So a big hit there for BMW, especially out of those slow speed corners. And also a bit of a hit for Porsche as well. Some minor tweaks to the max stint energy as well. Acura is going to see a 6 megajoule gain from Laguna Seca, while BMW sheds 18 megajoules of maximum stint energy. Here in GTD Pro, there are some big differences, but not as sizable as we saw in GTP. Ford is going to be 9 kilograms lighter. Lamborghini sees a 20 kilogram weight decrease. Meanwhile, the only car that really gains some significant weight is the Corvette, as they gain 6 kilograms. We do see plenty of overall max power reductions in this class. You do see Ferrari down 8.1% from what they had available to them at Laguna Seca. Porsche is down 9.9% from what they had at Laguna Seca, and a number of others are in that 5% reduction range. But also notably, you see some increases here. Aston Martin, they don't increase by much, but with everybody else going down quite a bit, this is going to play into their favor. They gain 1%. Ford is at 100% of their max power when they're under 170 kilometers an hour. And then you do also see some adjustments over 180 kilometers an hour. Again, this isn't going to be a huge deal at Detroit because it's a slower speed track. They're not going to be getting over 180 kilometers an hour much. Maybe the only spot is going to be down that long straightaway. But you do see Ford is picking up a significant increase here. They're at 100% of their power as well, over 180 kilometers an hour, while everybody else tends to see a reduction. While there's a few others that also gain some, most of the competitors are staying about where they were at Laguna. And then we also see some stint energy increases and reductions here. Ferrari loses 10 megajoules, Lexus loses 10, Porsche loses 15 megajoules, while Aston Martin gains 10, Ford gains 10, Lamborghini gains 10. So overall, look out for Ford to hopefully get a little bit more into contention, as well as Lamborghini. 22 cars will take to the track in this weekend's race, which is an increase of 1 from last year. They're going to be spread across 2 classes, with the GTP class featuring 11 entries, which is an increase of 1 from 2024, and the GTD Pro class also sees 11 entries, which is the same number of cars as last year. There is also an entry list note for this weekend, as the number 15 Vassar Sullivan Lexus will be joining the GTD Pro class as a one-off entry for the weekend, with their regular GTD lineup of Parker Thompson and Frankie Montecalvo in the car. Last year, the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Acura of Ricky Taylor and Felipe Albuquerque completed 75 laps en route to a class win. They'll be trying to go back-to-back this year with a new manufacturer after they switched to Cadillac in the off-season. While in GTD Pro was the number 77 AO Racing Porsche of Lauren Heinrich and Seb Prio taking the win there. The 3 keys to victory that you really got to watch out for in this race ultimately are simple. First, you need to qualify well. This is a tight street circuit. It's going to be really difficult to pass here. You need to have a good qualifying effort if you're going to be successful here, much like what we saw at Long Beach. You also need to have a clean race. Last year, this was a really chaotic race. A ton of cars picked up damage. You need to be careful of the contact that you're making with other cars and make sure that you're not causing damage to yourself or them. Otherwise, you could be picking up a penalty flag, which definitely impacted the results that we saw at Long Beach. And finally, you need to execute on your pit stop in this race. You only get one chance at a pit stop in this 1 hour and 40-minute race, so you really need to make it count. At Long Beach, Porsche executed this perfectly while BMW struggled, and ultimately it was the difference in the race. Check those 3 things off and you are definitely going to be in contention for a podium this weekend. Speaking of the podium, let's make some picks for this year's Detroit Grand Prix, and also let me know what yours are down in the comments. In GTP though, I'm going to go with the number 93 Meyershank Racing Acura. We talked about how Acura won here last year, and Renger van de Zande and Nick Yololi both have experience from this track last year. So while they have had some bad luck, they've also shown some solid pace potential this year. Also factor in the BOP bump that they're getting, and I think that they can pull this win off in GTP. In GTD Pro, give me the number 14 Vassar Sullivan Lexus. Yes, I think Aaron Telitz and Jack Hawksworth can get it done around here. They looked great out at Long Beach, and Jack Hawksworth drove the number 14 car to a second place finish in this race last year. Also, not to mention, that car has struggled up until this point in the season, and they are going to be gunning hard for a good result to pull their way back into the GTD Pro Championship hunt. Let's take a look at the point standings now, presented by P1 Web Development. If you're looking for a custom website, then look no further than P1 Web Development. You can check them out by clicking the first link in the description or by heading to p1webdevelopment.com. In GTP, it's number 7, Porsche Penske Motorsports 963 leading the way with 1,490 points. That's a 91-point advantage over the sister number 6 Porsche. The number 24 BMW stands 280 points behind, with the number 25 holding down the fort in 4th, and the number 31 Whelen Engineering Cadillac rounding out the top 5. In GTD Pro, it's number 77 AO Racing Porsche that leads the way with 1,014 points. That's a 70-point advantage over the number 3 Corvette Racing by Pratt Miller Motorsports Corvette. Just 4 points behind them is the number 81 Dragon Speed Ferrari. 107 points back is the number 65 Ford Multimatic Motorsports Mustang. And rounding out the top 5, the 2 Paul Miller Racing BMWs are actually tied for 5th with 867 points. One of the things that we see with these IMSA and IndyCar doubleheader weekends is no support series going out there for IMSA. So this weekend it is only the WeatherTech Championship. The Friday schedule is simple. Qualifying takes to the track at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can catch that on IMSA TV, IMSA's YouTube channel, or on Peacock. Flipping the schedule over to Saturday, and the race will take place at 3:35 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that on IMSA TV, Peacock, or on IMSA's YouTube channel. Unfortunately, this weekend I won't be hosting any watch-along as I'm going to be actually at the race at Detroit, so if you're there at the race as well and you see me, then make sure to say hi. Otherwise, though, in the meantime, while we're waiting for this race to get going, you can check out the 5 big storylines that I'm going to be watching for in this year's race right here. Huge shout out to all of the channel supporters. If you too want to support the show, you can head to patreon.com/offintheesses or click that join button below. Once again though, thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone has a great race weekend and doesn't go off in the S's.